Simen Olsen. Here we go. Jeff Jones, Evo Autoworks, Prism, Nissan 370Z. Into that first outside zone. Jeff Jones gets all the way out there. Simen Olsen does not. He straightens. He's taking that mid-line. He's going to need to step it up as Jeff Jones. Massive angle there from Jones. Transitions now again. 2 LS supercharged vehicles. And Jones powers through that final inner clip. Simen Olsen we get a verdict here. Simen Olsen will lead. Jeff Jones giving chase. After this, Forsberg versus Field. Woo! That's going to be a barn burner. And then Dylan Hughes versus Dean Carney. Here we go. Right now, it's Simen Olsen, Field suspension, GT radial, S chassis. Oh, now he gets out there. Now he's feeling comfortable. Jeff Jones takes a bit of a shallower line. He does initiate. Simen getting the clean air and the clean line. Jeff Jones sticks it to the door. Simen takes out that inside clip. Was that enough? Our vehicle teamed up with Boxi's the Field suspension crew. So let's see what Simen Olsen's got in store for us and for Chelsea DeNofa. DeNofa initiates out front. The Nitto tires, those turbo fans out back, going around. Gets both. Oh, look at that nasty snap right there, Ryan. That's that X factor we talked about qualifying, but Simen Olsen looking very comfortable in the chase. Look how tight Simen Olsen is. Well done by Olsen. So that snap, that X factor that we keep bringing up and reinstituting here. All right, Simen Olsen, clean start. Simen, as you said, he needs to put it down. Front row seat, Chelsea DeNofa. Simen Olsen, that Field suspension. S chassis, GT radio. Oh, look at this. A mistake by Chelsea DeNofa going mid-line, but Simen Olsen delivers, filling that third outside zone. Now transitioning into that final inside clip. He does run it over, but aggressive, very aggressive. Some of the most aggressive driving I've seen from this Norwegian pilot. He doesn't hit a cone, and we're good. Here we go. Chelsea DeNofa out front. Simen Olsen the chase position. Chelsea DeNofa initiates. Pencil, BC Racing Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. And transitions now in that second outside zone. You know, on Chelsea's first battle, he was wound up. He hit that X factor, man, that snappy transition. A little safer in my
pocket and just make his way through this course in the proper way, and it'll give him a chase-to-chase advantage.
Be a little more aggressive. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Simen Olsen initiates. Field suspension, GT radial, Vortex supercharged S chassis. In that first outside zone, now transitioning in the second outside zone. Chelsea might have been listening there, Ryan. Good job by Simen filling that third outside zone. How's he going to handle this last inside clip? Pretty well done, man.
Yeah, that was a much better job.
On the lead, Simen Olsen in the chase position. Yeah, you can see those things fire up. Well done by Jones. Olsen jumps right to the side of Jones. Simen Olsen's second ever event in an S chassis and an LS chassis. Both these guys run an LS supercharged. Jeff Jones, great job there, filling all that second outside zone. Simen Olsen dives in, but unfortunately came in a little too hot and had to back off. So you saw him fall out of angle. You saw Simen dive in on that inside clip too and had to fall back, and that straightened him out, fell out of angle. Toyota sponsorship, he's been actively working with Toyota for quite some time. And here we go, the second half of this battle, Simen Olsen, Jeff Jones. Olsen coming down the hill. Vortex charged LS, initiates in front of Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones going with that straight line approach. That Evo Autoworks Nissan 370Z. Talk about another driver that's really progressed, Jones. But not progressing to the side of Simen. Needs to get in that proximity. See if that big drift energy shows up. Let's see what we got here from Mike Power and Simen Olsen. Simen Olsen from Norway, Mike Power from the East Coast. Oh, look at Simen reeling him in. Mike Power, great angle in that Type S. Mean Bean, Black Machine. Simen Olsen now tucks in on that transition. About the second hash mark, Mike Power out front, fills all that outside zone, finds the crease, lick the stamp and send it right on the barbed wire's edge, the barbed wire livery, the tattoo thick right now, but when you illuminate that, it's like a white balance. It's gonna be blinded by the smoke, not by the light. Here we go, Simen Olsen initiates field suspension, GT radial. Look at that, now he's looking great. Look at Simen Olsen out front, big angle from him, now coming down into the transition. Mike Power needs to gain that distance. He is looking a lot more settled than Simen Olsen, but don't know if he's hitting the ticks, hitting the marks. As Simen Olsen, a spot on, great lead run. This is a tough one because, again, Commander S15, guess what? You got the Latvian lover in your rearview mirror. He is aggressive. Simen Olsen initiates, look at, there you go, Christos Blues. Trying to sink in the sword there, but Simen Olsen, he's a Viking. He's from Norway. He knows to fight him off. No problem for Simen Olsen. Looks like Christos Blues takes out that inside clip. Now filling all of that second outside zone. Your screen, they illuminate when they extinguish, they're allowed to go. The chase car can leave before the lead car leaves the start line, just an FYI. All right, here we go. Christos Blues initiates into the outside zone. He is a lot higher than Simen Olsen, but Simen, really good duplication of that angle. Gets into that pocket, gets in that smoke signal. Can't even see Simen Olsen navigating through that smoke. And Christos Blues, massive angle, filling all that outside zone. Look at Simen tapping the brakes, but Christos, definitely want to see different angles. We kind of had, you know, different perspectives and love to show that earlier. Well, unfortunately, he did get the win against Field, but not against Dylan Hughes. So the winner of this goes against the Dozer, Dylan Hughes, the final four. Here comes Frederick Aasbo versus Simen Olsen, an all-Norwegian battle. North, here we go. Frederick Aasbo, big angle from him. Simen Olsen needs to get that proximity and mimic that angle, pulling away from him. Simen Olsen was looking great all day today. But Freddie showing you why he is three-time champion and defending champion. That was just a real strong presence, Link Engineer. Here we go. Simen Olsen out front. Field suspension, GT radial, F chassis. Frederick Aasbo says, hey, how you doing? How's it back in Norway? Well, I am right here all up in your business, checking your temperature. Now transitioning into that inside clip two. Simen Olsen taken out. Now, this is first season with a Vortex Supercharged LS. Never driven an S chassis. Making it look really good. But Frederick Aasbo, that gold shadow, shining bright like a diamond.
One qualifier going out 32. Obviously did get on to the 16, but got knocked out early.
Here we go, Taylor Hull. It's all about him and Simen Olsen, the Norwegian pilot. Now coming to that second outside zone. Taylor Hull, good transition. Look at that fluid. Rock solid. That's the way you want to be. Again, I don't know if it's still raining. We're still seeing some umbrellas out there. We are up in the tower. Now Taylor Hull transition, that last outside zone. How's he going to handle it? Boom, uses all the course. But Simen Olsen, we talked about how confident he is out of the gate. All right, here we go. Now we're seeing Simen Olsen out front, field suspension, GT radial, S chassis. Into that first outside zone. Look at that, dragging that back bumper. Now into and transitioning into that second outside zone, the 180-degree turn. Filling all of it is Simen Olsen. Taylor Hull maybe given a little bit of comfort room. Let's see, as he get a surge and attack here past that one and only inside clip, the lone inside clip, and Taylor Hull goes on the wall. And that is just too aggressive for Taylor Hull. He slams that back left end to us one earlier. Here we go, Kazuya initiating into that first outside zone. Simen Olsen dropping into formation. Now Kazuya into that second outside zone, the up garage ISR performance. Jerry Yang produced vehicle, and Simen Olsen, look at that. Man, he is, again, for never driving an S chassis until this year, the fourth round, he's making it look really easy. But again, and right in between the drivers, once they extinguish, they're allowed to leave the line. The chase car can actually leave the line prior to the lead car, but the lead car needs to wait till they extinguish. Simen Olsen, big, nasty angle. That first outside zone, hits it and quits it. And Kazuya Taguchi, you can see him nosing in. Simen Olsen, big, massive angle. That second outside zone, that allows Kazuya Taguchi. I mean, these guys are looking almost identical in their lead and in their chase. And this is going to be a hard one. I mean, here we are splitting hairs, Ryan. You know, we had that one more time between Gucci.
So we'll see. Now the battle begins again.
Here we go. Odie Boxi, Simen Olsen. Odie and Simen, almost simultaneous initiation in that first outside zone. There goes Odie Boxi's. See how they handle into that big 180-degree outside zone too. Odie Boxi's big angle there. Simen Olsen, great proximity. And you can see that. Look at Simen Olsen. Is he going to take out the boss? Past that inside clip into that final outside zone. Odie Boxi, you can see his eye on the prize. Look at him just looking out that window. Really good composure. Flying the Norwegian flag on. See the antenna on the roof of his S chassis. Here we go, field suspension, pedal commander, Vortex Supercharged LS. Olsen out front.
Let's see how it initiates. Boxi, he obviously knows what these vehicles are capable of. Now transitioning into that second outside zone. Boxi, look at that. He's saying, hey, Simen, I built this car. I can crash this thing if I wanted to. I'll fix it. So coming now into that final outside zone. Some separation there between Olsen and Odie. Now Odie comes up short on that final outside zone. That was a very uncharacteristic line by Odie will lead into that first outside zone. A lot of handbrake being pulled there by Boxi. Simen Olsen hanging out in the shadow. Simen now surges forward. Some good driving here. Again, identical setups, you know, the S chassis, supercharged LS into that final outside zone. Odie just right on that line. Could be slightly deeper, but I mean, really, really good textbook lead run.
Yeah, and another strong performance.
Meet Adam LZ in the final four. Simen Olsen will lead. Boxi's giving chase. Here comes Simen Olsen out of the gate into that outside zone. Look at that, tapping the wall. Goes Simen Olsen. Boxi's transitions into that second outside zone. Good proximity. Again, dropping in that pocket. That's what I was talking about. I really love the way Odie. That's why I say he's one of the best chase drivers. He gets really deep and he mimics that angle so well. He could just really massage that S chassis. He's only doing 4 rounds. So here we go. Who's going against Adam LZ in the finals? Is it Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay, and the Borla Corvette, or Simen Olsen, the Field Suspension S chassis? Matt Field transitions into that second outside zone. It looks like Simen Olsen gives him a little bit of room, but now he catches up. Look at that proximity, not mimicking exactly the angle that we saw earlier today. Takes and punches out that inside clip. Here comes Matt Field, get all the way to the course's edge. Want to get that eye in the sky view. Again, by comparison, that Olsen leaving the start line through the chicane. Send it! Simen Olsen, Field Suspension S chassis. Matt Field, the white 4-star standing out. You can see them through the smoke, now transitioning in. Simen Olsen, Matt Field, you can see him jumping to the side. A little bit of left foot break there from Simen Olsen. The fiberglass bouncing off the back of Simen Olsen. Matt Field drops back a little bit. What's going on here? Let's see if he can reap the reward. Simen Olsen fills all of that outside zone. Wow, an amazing run. I know they're watching back in Riverside. Steph, see you tomorrow. Leave the light. Let's get a clean start. Adam LZ, light up the night. And there we go. He ensures no cones. Let's make sure no cones are hit. Holy cow, he's flirting with that cone. Adam LZ, we got a clean start. Simen Olsen. Sparks are flying into that outside zone 1. Now passing into outside zone 2. Big angle from Adam LZ. Look at that. Puts it right into the sweet spot. Simen Olsen tucks in, mimicking the angle. A little bit out of 10%. And then now into that last outside zone. Big, massive transition from LZ. Oh, doctor, look at that. But Simen Olsen right there. That was a nasty transition from Adam LZ. Past the in clip. Watch this again, Ryan. Just that attitude. Field Suspension, S chassis, GT radial tires, the Nitto tire Mustang. Adam LZ gets into formation, drops that back bumper. Can he get that proximity back? Olsen filling that second outside zone. Look at the power on deck from that RTR Mustang. Hobbs giving a jump to the side of the S chassis. Now transitioning past that inner clip into that last outside zone 3. LZ throws it in. A good transition. Ooh, it looked like he was almost going to loop it in the chase position. Make some noise, New Jersey. If we have a winner, we'll bring them down. We need the RTR Mustang Spec 5 FD. We got a clean start. Simen Olsen shoots down into that first outside zone. Big, nasty entry by Adam LZ. Simen Olsen getting buried in the smoke into that second outside zone. Adam LZ fills all of the Nitto tire smoke in his face. Simen Olsen diving in, good proximity. Not mimicking the exact angle now in that final. There's that snappy transition, sends it into that final outside zone. Adam LZ counters across the finish line to that third outside zone. Who has that? Who has it dialed? If LZ nails that chase in the third outside zone, I think it's going to be his, but Simen Olsen, he's going to push back. Simen Olsen, good initiation by him. First zone into second outside zone. Adam LZ drops into formation, very similar, but look, he is mimicking the angle right there. He finds himself deep in the pocket. How are they going to handle this last outside zone? I'm telling you, this is going to be telltale sign. Who dials it in? And look at that, he goes deep into that outside zone. Both the drivers into that third outside zone. That's the exclamation point. That is your last impression.
Not be James Dean. Crazy. There it is. So a little bit of a, I don't want to call it upset because Rockthorn definitely talented. But right now, Simen Olsen going against Jeff Jones. Simen Olsen, field suspension, GT radial, S chassis.
into that second outside. Oh, Jeff Jones comes out of drift. Oh, that's definitely going to hurt him here. That Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z. Simen Olsen continues on. And that's going to be an incomplete for Jeff Jones. Simen looking so comfortable.
We've shortened the finish line up by about, what is that, 30 feet maybe?
All right, so Jeff Jones, again, with that straightening out. Simen Olsen continued on through the course. So let's see what we got here from Jeff Jones. That Evo AutoWorks GT Radial. Big drift energy, Nissan 370Z. Does fill all of that first outside zone. Simen Olsen getting bathed in the smoke. Now the second outside zone. Simen Olsen kind of tempering and dialing it back a little bit. He knows he doesn't need to be right there on the door, but he does need to be aggressive. And it looks like, unfortunately for Jeff Jones, the Evo Auto
Ended up
16.
essentially, yeah.
16, so no points advancement.
Exactly.
Get the same points as you.
That's what I'm hearing from the competition staff. Ultimately, they're going to make a call now.
Here we go, moving on to this battle. Dean Carney out front, Hyper NFT. Carnage into that first outside zone. He's seeing a lot of different debris being sprayed up in Simen Olsen's face. Now going to that third outside zone. Good sweeping bank into that, again, third outside zone, now into that final outside zone. Simen Olsen maybe giving too much room. Out battle. Again, that chase car can't leave before the lead car. Here we go, Simen Olsen. See how he manages that first outside zone. Right there on the course edge.
Wow.
Could have gotten a little bit deeper here as Dean Carney. Good proximity from him. Look at that, jumping forward. And then SRT-10 Dodge Viper now into that third outside zone. Big angle from Olsen. Again, we've seen cars deeper before, but oh, look at this. Oh no, Dean Carney comes up short in that last outside zone. Maybe nervous, a little precarious there from Dean Carney.
We were talking about zones 2 and 3 for Dean in the lead position. We're going to want to
Have that battle in just a little bit. Here we go, Castro out front, initiates that LTH Mobile 1 GR86. Now coming through into that second outside zone, you can see Simen Olsen, looks like he lunges forward and now transitions into that third outside zone. Simen Olsen right there in that pocket. Now see how they handle that last outside zone for, oh, buddy! Castro looks like he rotates. Want to see the overhead here. He produces. He could be back up in the mix and gunning for another podium spot in the Final Four. Here goes Simen Olsen. That'd be great to see Olsen and Aasbo right in the Final Four, two Norwegian drivers. Castro, look at that. Oh man, here comes Jonathan Castro in that Mobile 186, and he's grinding the door of the fuel suspension S chassis. Outside of the third outside zone, Castro making his presence felt. Drives in on the inside. Oh boy. Some great aggressive driving by Castro. Take over the lead with a victory here. Here we go. Frederick Aasbo initiates strongly into that first outside zone. Simen Olsen, his Norwegian compatriot, into that second outside zone. Simen Olsen, he checks up. He takes a way shallower line. Here comes Frederick Aasbo on the Nitto tires. The Bergenholtz get loud. Now to that final outside zone. Here comes Frederick Aasbo. Drops it right into formation. Simen Olsen, he is in tow, but he had a major mistake on that second outside zone. That definitely will hurt him.
We were just talking about that last round, right?
Contenders such as Chelsea DeNofa, and again, notably Matt Field. Here we go with a one more time battle between Frederick Aasbo and Simen Olsen. All Norway on track right now. Big angle from Frederick Aasbo. That was massive there. And again, Simen Olsen retaliates. This, you know, we're talking about that line, and yeah, very similar line. He kind of hung it out to dry, but Olsen with really good posture and composure into that last outside zone. This is it. I mean, the confidence level of Simen Olsen is through the roof.
Well, the result last time,
Boys, come on now. Is Simen Olsen going to take down the three-time and defending champ of Frederick Aasbo? Or is Aasbo going to assume the points lead here in St. Louis? Simen Olsen, good transition outside zone 2. Frederick Aasbo drops right into that pocket. Man, that is signed, sealed, and delivered. Coming now down into that last outside zone. Right, some great driving out front by Olsen. Man, that thing slams down into that transition. Will he assume again the points lead here in St. Louis? Little Manji across the nose of that field suspension S15. Frederick Aasbo dialed. Looks like he is definitely more on rails than he was previously. Simen Olsen. Now that looked like a really good execution going from 1 to 2. And that allows Olsen to get right in that pocket. Transitioning in that final outside zone. Olsen gets a little too aggressive, bites off more than he can chew. I mean, that was almost perfect. But where is it gonna be? Simen Olsen out front. We got a clean start. Let's see this initiation. Boom, goes right for that first outside zone. Now go to the second outside zone. Let's watch this transition right in there. Aasbo giving him a little bit, maybe too much room, and just as I say that, he closed the door. Simen Olsen looks like he DBs that back left. He hits that wall, but as long as he powers through this, the second portion of this battle, he finishes out, and Simen Olsen and Freddie go back and forth, banging doors. Let him know you're here, St. Louis. Yo.
Him and peanut butter and jelly, baby. You know, oldie Boxi's turning 40 yesterday. Seems to be working out. Here we go. Simen Olsen out front. Forrest Wang in the chase position. Both S chassis, but two very different setups. Forrest Wang lunges forward, has to back off. Olsen signed, sealed, and delivered into that first outside zone. Outside zone 2, fills all of it, transitions into outside zone 3. Boom, Forrest Wang getting nuts. Yellow Speed Racing. S chassis into that final outside zone goes Olsen. Again, Forrest Wang kind of got a bit of a deficit here as he is now leading Yellow Speed Racing. Get Nuts Laboratory, S chassis. Again, two S chassis, but two very different engine builds. Forrest Wang now looking a lot more comfortable out front. He's going to need to throw down a heater of a run, and Simen Olsen is going to need to make a mistake in order for Forrest Wang to advance on. And the way Olsen's been driving, he's been on it. Yeah. Simen, you know, definitely needs to get more proximity. Simen Olsen, Dylan the Dozer Hughes, initiating. Olsen, big, massive angle. Dylan, little lower angle, but great proximity. Olsen is just on one right now. Simen Olsen into that second outside zone, the power rally. Look at Reeder now coming in. Into that inside clip. The amount of angle and the degree that he's throwing it at and holding onto it is absolutely insane. Here we go. We got the telemetry going. See what kind of speeds we get. 90 miles per hour on initiation. Initiating into that bank. Simen Olsen, great proximity. Look at that. Oh, he pulled away. Simen Olsen now falling out of angle. Coming to the power rally. Leave it all out of the track.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Hughes into that second outside zone. Past that inside clip. And into that final outside zone.
Let's be honest. This would be a major needle mover psychologically if Dylan Hughes were able to get this
out. Odie. And here we go. Olsen or Dylan Hughes. Where are my Dylan Hughes fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Simen Olsen fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Jim Team fans at? Make some noise. Here we go. The telemetry is on and Simen Olsen flicks it in. Dylan Hughes rolls into it. Simen Olsen, massive angle, that field suspension vehicle. Look at that, ripping into that first outside zone. Quick little bobble into the power rally. The Dozer finds himself right there. Again, gets close, but definitely needs to mimic more of the angle. Has that proximity into that final. Oh! Simen Olsen does against James Dean, who isn't 100%. He's got those nitrous issues, so that could hurt him. Telemetry is on. The G-force, the speed. Here we go. Dylan Hughes out front. Royal Purple.
Oh, yeah.
BMW throws it in. Simen Olsen drops into formation. Look at this. Oh, he drops. Oh, locking him up. Little left foot brake by Dylan Hughes into the power rally. Oh, right on the razor's edge. Using all of the courses, Dylan Hughes. Showing you the driving prowess past that inside clip. The Ford Star standing out, showing you the correction coming back.
He has his hands on, notably Kazuya Taguchi, right? And so Jerry Yang's been banging away for years, but Simen Olsen, man, this should be a really fun battle. Simen Olsen, very proven chassis, obviously working with the Boxi's camp, that field suspension, S chassis, no back, initiates, dives in on the inside, that is sketchy 5,000. That could have been an absolute T-bone steak, cheese, egg, and Welch is great. Goes in that second outside zone. Here goes Simen Olsen, continues on the pace, and he does need to continue as Novak shuts her down. This is going to be a major advantage the way of Simen Olsen. And there goes Simen Olsen. Continues on. He says a Gymkhana grid. It's the chill hard. Jake chilling hard. Here we go. All right, Nick Novak will be leading. Novak racing, Jerry Yang racing, BMW. Looks like he's a lot more confident. Ooh, and then, as I say that, you can see him weeble wobble, but he does not fall down. In that first outside zone, Nick Novak. And like you said, you know, you got to think that Novak has an incomplete. Out of 0 to 10, we need you at a 7. You know, and I think that will suffice in order to get this advancement. But Novak putting down a heater of a run. He did have some mistakes, but I think, you know, unfortunately for Novak, that mistake out of the gates, that's gonna hurt him. And again, maybe that chase car is gonna make a mistake. Here we go, Simen Olsen out front, initiates across the nose of the boss man, but he knows how capable these cars are. Simen Olsen past the inside clip. Simen into that first outside zone. Touch and go, not a touch and go, but it is not as long and deep as this second outside zone. Some wavering there by Olsen. Boxi feeling confident. He had a little twitch there and backed off quite a bit. That is not gonna favor Boxi's. Little Padawan here. But with Aasbo advancing on, currently sitting in second, Odie definitely needs to. Goes again, Odie out front with the orange roof. Simen Olsen, he gets really aggressive past that inside clip, but definitely falls back. Now he's gonna surge. So where Odie had that twitch and fell back, Simen Olsen is consistent, but he is back a few car lengths. Now come this last outside zone. Simen surges towards the end. That was a great move. Here we go. Who do we got? Olsen, Beecham. Olsen 5th in points. Olsen initiates really out to that rumble strip on initiation. Escapes that inside clip. Definitely want to see a different angle from overhead camera, the truth serum as I call it, into that second outside zone. Look at Beecham. Aggressive. Into that last outside zone. Beecham riding that course edge. Oh, wow, and Beecham. But he's in the chase position, so it's not a favorable position. And to be quite honest, Olsen didn't have the tidiest of lead run, so he really needs to bring in here. Beecham getting out to that rumble strip, that won't hurt him. But fills that outside zone. Olsen, you see him lunging forward, lacking the angle there, but now throws it at him. There we go, into that second outside zone. Beecham whipping it into that last outside zone. You know, Olsen had some mistakes. Olsen did have some mistakes, but Beecham going offline. Simen Olsen out front, Chelsea DeNofa in the chase position. Simen Olsen is absolutely hitting it right now. Our number 2 qualifier, massive angle. Can DeNofa keep up with that? Gets that anchor strip. DeNofa, again, car gets disrupted, but Simen Olsen, you can see that field suspension just sucking to the ground, hitting that 3-wheel motion. Chelsea DeNofa in a chase position, but Olsen fills all that second outside zone. Now supercharged, Vortex supercharged LS, getting all the way to that outside zone. DeNofa, our points leader. Ultimate Olsen in that S chassis. Chelsea DeNofa, Pennzoil, Mustang RTR. Going for driver and manufacturer's championship. Big angle from DeNofa, he throws it in. Simen Olsen overcooks it. Olsen overcooks it, he goes sideways. DeNofa continues on. And that was a hard act to follow with DeNofa initiating into that second outside zone. Standing on the throttle, risking it all for the victory. And look at that. We talked about how dominant that horsepower was of Simen Olsen, but then the tide shifted. DeNofa said, hey, against the field suspension, GT radial Ineos oil, S&T. Chris Forsberg initiates into that first inside bank. Quickly gets to that wall, sticks it high. Simen Olsen now, a little wavering there, and not being thrown off by Chris Forsberg. Big angle by Forsberg, past the initiation into that second outside zone. Here comes Forsberg and Olsen. Now Forsberg will navigate past that second inside clip. There goes Olsen, surges an attack, has to straighten out, makes a correction, and they both cross to the dial. And come on, Foresttown, says Chelsea DeNofa. He is the biggest, the mayor of Foresttown. Here we go. Chris the Force Forsberg chasing down Simen Olsen. Simen Olsen needs to win. Chris Forsberg, if he gets the win, Chelsea DeNofa is your 2023 champion. Simen Olsen looking strong, really high. Here comes Chris Forsberg. Chris the Force Forsberg transitions past the inside clip. Simen Olsen pulling away. Watch Chris Forsberg slowly inch his way. Both of them dragging bumper on the outside zone too. Is this the run for glory for Forsberg and Chelsea DeNofa?